All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We have a really special report for you here today to kick off the week. This is actually a supplement to my normal weekly Monday market report, and pretty significant one here too. Great Collections, one of the biggest online auction houses for coins and currency, had the distinct pleasure of consigning a very prominent, very high-end Lincoln Cent registry set, and that is called the Red Copper Collection. This is a collection that was assembled by a gentleman that goes by the name Stuart Blay. He's been around the business, the hobby, for many years, if not decades, and he was the owner of the finest set of Lincoln Cents that you will ever lay eyes on, and then we all get to see it here today. I had mentioned in my previous video from last night, my normal Monday market report, that this is a kind of a once-in-a-lifetime Black Swan event type of sale right here, where we get to see predominantly the finest grade pieces to exist as one collection in a marketplace. It's very unlikely that you will find another collection of this caliber that's going to be as omnipotent, I guess, in the annals of the Lincoln Cent series. And as we all know, Lincoln Cents are probably the most widely collected, most universally loved series, bar none, out of, I would probably go out on a limb and say, out of every coin series, it doesn't matter if it's U.S. coins, if it's Canadian, if it's coins from the U.K., all across the globe, we are probably going to lay eyes on the most decorated series of coins that is recognized across the globe. And we have the finest selection here today. Now, what Great Collections had done is they had split up this huge offering in 2 weeks. So they staggered one particular set of them 7 days apart. So this is part one that we're going to take a look at here. We're not going to go through all the coins. Altogether, the Red Copper Collection on Great Collections totals over 160 coins. And what we're going to do is we're going to highlight it for this particular week. We're going to highlight the top 15 coins. Probably by dollar value, because there's some pretty nice pieces in here. That again, it's once in a lifetime. Very unlikely that you'll see any others quite like these. And if you do, they're going to be one-offs. It's not going to be one whole compilation like this Red Copper Collection is. But we also have part two, which is going to be a week from today. So we're going to do our normal scheduled Monday market report on Sunday, and then that following Monday, a week from today, we're going to cover the finality of the Red Copper Collection as a recap part two, and it's looking good. We're going to kind of talk a little bit about a few of the highlights from that week two selection, something to keep an eye out on. But let's go ahead and dive right in. These are, by the way, in really no particular order. I wanted to kind of end the report on the most expensive coins from the list, but there are a few coins that are kind of like jumbled in there that aren't necessarily in order from least to greatest. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one here, and you're going to find that a lot of the coins are earlier dated, from the teens, from the 20s. This is where a lot of your, I guess, trophies are going to come out of, is these two particular decades. But it's not going to completely limit your ability to find other big-time coins in any other decades within the Lincoln Cent series. It just so happens that some of the finest graded specimens all happen to be within 2 decades that are, quite frankly, the most challenging to find out of any other decade of Lincoln cents. So we have this 1921 Lincoln wheat cent right here, and they're all wheat cents. I'm just going to drop wheat cents off the name and title of every single coin that we talk about today. I'm going to do my best to give you all the information as to why it sold for what it did, including population numbers, the final bid price that includes the buyer's premium. They're all going to have buyer's premium in there, and I'm going to give you the total amount of bids that it took to get to that level. So a lot of the coins on the list are older generational graded PCGS coins. They're all PCGS graded, by the way, in case you were wondering. And these were probably graded between 20 and 30 years ago. They're OGHs, which are original green holders. Like, for example, this one right here is an OGH, and you can just tell from the actual design of the label that it's a much older graded specimen. So, you know, in case any questions arise where, you know, like, oh yeah, this person sent all these in here recently within the last few years, and, you know, maybe they have a hookup at PCGS. That's simply just not the case, because you're going to see a wide range of various coins that were graded by PCGS over the course of the last 20 to 30 years. So we have this one here. It's a beautiful, very stunning example. It's one of the final dates, I would say, where the strike is really nice, to where you could see a lot of the facial hair detail and the hair on Mr. Lincoln himself are all going to be, for the most part, very well detailed. And that can only be in full display on these earlier 1920s and going back into the teens dated coins. You're going to see some pretty marvelous strikes, by the way, on this list. So, check out the grade. PCGS gave this one a mid-state 68 full red. Every single coin on the list has a CAC green bean as well, so they're CAC certed. Just to get that out of the way, because I won't repeat it after this. As far as its population numbers, this is a POP 4, which means there are only 4 graded at this level, and there are none finer. So this is it. This is the top grade for a 1921 Philadelphia Lincoln. So this one right here ended up selling for $59,625, and that was through a total of 68 bids on this one. Just a really good way to kick off the Red Copper recap here. So we're going to have also a few of these very difficult 1920s branchman coins on the list. And for those of you that aren't as familiar with Denver and San Francisco 1920s Lincolns, they're quite difficult to find, A, in full red, and also with that strong, heavy reverse strike. You just don't see that. Sorry, that's my dog, by the way. But yeah, this one right here is phenomenal. The reverse strike on this coin is quite hammered for the date. You just don't see that on coins ranging from about 1922. As we all know, there was only a Denver and a plain no mid-mark coin on that date, going all the way up to about 1928. The strikes were really, really bad. We're talking about a decade of less than desirable quality, not only from the process, but also from the planchets as well. But this is just a pleasing example. PCGS gave this one a mid-state 65 red, and a little bit older graded coin, I would say from about maybe 10-15 years ago on this one. And the population numbers is, this is a POP 21 with only one coin that graded finer, and that was a mid-state 65 plus red. So just to let you guys know, there is one coin that is graded a little bit better than this one. However, at the end of the day, this one ended up selling for $64,462.50, and that's with 76 bids. The next one that we have here probably gets the most points for the eye appeal factor. This one certainly has a little bit of toning all throughout. Not only the obverse, but the reverse as well. This is a 1923 Lincoln. PCGS gave this one a mid-state 68 red. Alright, so a really nice lofty high-end grade, even for a Philadelphia coin You know, Philadelphia's tend to have the better strikes, the better quality. Most of those are generally saved in a higher state of preservation. So if you're going to save, if you're looking for like maybe not quite a 68, this thing is just a monster, but maybe a mid-state 64 or a 65 in full red for your set, you know, you could be a little bit more economical, and you could generally get those for about, you know, $200 to $500. But when it comes to a top pop grade, which is what this one is, by the way, it's a pop 2. There are only 2 graded in the 68 red, and there are none finer. And considering that this coin was graded about 20 years ago, because it's another OGH, that is that's quite remarkable. You know, normally in a 15-20 year span, we generally see more coins graded, and they kind of hit this number right here. We just didn't see that with a 1923. And as a result, this one ended up selling for $65,531.25. And that's with 56 total bids on this one. The next one that we have here is the 1914S. Now, don't let the date and the mint mark fool you. Yeah, sure, it's not a 14D. I can tell you that right now. That's like that's one of the top like 3 key dates of the series. But when it comes to survival rate of a coin at a specific grade level, and this is a great example of that. There are less coins that exist in grades above like a mid-state 64 for this date compared to a number of others around it, like a 15S, for example, and a 16S. This one right here, overall, is just a really difficult date. This one is a PCGS mid-state 66 red, CAC certified. Pop numbers are this, population of 4, none finer, and this one ended up selling, and it makes a pretty big jump compared to the previous coin, at $78,187.50, and that's with 65 bids. Alright, so here's another one of those remarkable Philadelphia minted coins. And this is just a great example of what a heavy, just really strong strike on a 19-teens era Lincoln looks like. I mean, you have just an amazing hair detail. You could literally see the little hair strands that the mint engraver actually did the painstaking work of putting into the engraving when they did the master hubs on these. But wow, this coin is amazing. Mid-State 68 red was the assigned grade by PCGS. Again, another OGH holder this time around. It's a Pop 1 0 finer, which means this is a single sole finest specimen that you will ever come across. And this one ended up selling for $81,562.50, and that's with 64 bids. And here's a 1917, again, another really nice example, another just really top flight coin. And another thing to kind of keep in mind, when you look at these, check out the fields of the coin, because they have that kind of like matte texture to them that you just don't see on any other decade of Lincoln. And, you know, keep that in mind. This is like part of like a very early kind of pedigree of this amazing series that we all know and love today. And even it makes coins like this rather pedestrian Philadelphia date right here just become a completely different level of coin. And it shows here with this one. This is a mid-state 68 red, by the way, by PCGS. A coin that was probably graded about 10-15 years ago. It's much older. It's a Pop 2, so there are 2 at this grade. 0 finer, and it sold for $78,075, and that's with 77 total bids. So we have a 1917S. You could see kind of the lower level type of quality when it comes to San Francisco minted coins of this era, and it shows here with this one. By no means is it anywhere close to a 68 grade. All right, it's just, you know, this one has you know, its problems with the plancha quality not being that great, and you know, it's not the cleanest looking coin. However, that's where a lot of the challenge is with this one. It's a Mid-State 66 red. It's an OGH holder, much like a few of the other coins we've seen thus far. It's a Pop 1. It's the only one at this grade. 0 finer. Just a really tremendous coin right here. And it ended up selling for $81,572.62 with 61 total bids. Probably my least favorite coin out of this top 15 list. Good looking one here. So we went back up into the penthouse as far as the overall quality of the strike is concerned with this 1919 Denver. What a phenomenal looking coin. You'll notice a few kind of like lines on there, and those are scratches on the holder and not on the coin. I just wanted to make that clear. But we have a coin here, ladies and gentlemen, that is another staggering single finest graded example at a Mid-State 67 plus, full red, CAC certified, as you know, like all the other coins on the list. This is the coin that is graded the most recent. It's got the gold shield on there, probably graded within the last few years, I would imagine. Very, very spicy, very fresh example, like it was minted yesterday. Again, Pop 1, 0 finest. This one ended up selling for $90,562.50 with 73 bids. All right, so we're back into the doghouse with some really just bad quality years within the mid-1920s, and we have another one here. This time it's San Francisco. Now, I've been collecting this series long enough to know that finding one with that strong strike on the reverse is, it's not next to impossible, but it's quite challenging. I would say for every 10 coins of a 1925S you look at, probably 2 of them, maybe 3, will have a really nice reverse strike. And then sometimes you'll have the really nice reverse strike, but a really poor quality obverse strike. So this one kind of has, you know, for what we call era-specific, just the premier look of what a nice strike would look like on the obverse and reverse of the coin, and it's kind of like mixed very well here with this one. This is an OGH Mid-State 65 red, another premium example. This is a Pop 15, which means there are 15 graded at this grade level, 0 finer. And it ended up selling for $91,125, and that's with 58 bids. All right, so this is our number 6 coin on the list, or our 6th, I guess, most expensive, I suppose, the 1925D. Again, plaguing the same issues as the S Mint. Although, you know, you could probably say that Denvers are easier to find with a nice strike compared to an S Mint. It's just like night and day here. This one is a Mid-State 66 red. Again, another OGH holder, graded quite a while ago. This one is a Pop 3 and 0 finer on this one, so quite thin pop numbers at the top. This one right here sold pretty similarly to the previous coin at $92,812.50 with 56 bids. All right, so the top 5 coins get really insane. All right, so we're going to go, you know, kind of jump into the top 5 with a doozy here. This is again, this is the coin that we all dream of finding one day, right? You know, just like either finding in a collection, or if you have the, I guess the luck to find one of these in just an old Lincoln Wheat Cent bag or something. This is what dreams are made of, and it's a 1922 plain, no mint mark. As we all know, these were all struck in Denver. None were minted in Philadelphia or San Francisco. Call it for what it is. You know, it's just a mint mix-up. You know, and some of these didn't have a mint mark that was struck onto the coin. You know, whether it's over abrasion of the die or a filled die, things of that nature. I'm kind of leaning more toward the filled die because there are weak Denver mint marks of this date. This one right here, as a Mid-State 64 red, also has the strong reverse die pairing to it, which is what you want. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, a Pop 1 0 finer. Believe it or not, a 64 of this coin is the top pop grade in a full red. This one sold for $253,125 with 85 total bids. This is one of the big ones for the week. And it was bound to show up. We do have that key date 1914D make its way onto the list on the top 5 slot. This one right here is just a beautiful coin. Not exactly the ultimate kind of like strike and overall quality for being a full red specimen. But this is certainly, you know, what you're going to find at the top level. This is a Mid-State 66 red, also an OGH, although a little bit older OGH compared to all the other ones that we've seen on today's list. This one right here is a Pop 7 1 finer. So there is actually one other coin that's graded a little bit higher. I believe that's a 66 plus for this one. And it ended up selling for $109,687.50 with 87 bids. And 2 out of the top 3 coins, you're not going to believe it, are Philadelphia coins, but they are probably the most stunning examples of any Lincoln cent from the bottom all the way up to the top that you ever lay eyes on. Again, this is kind of like a testament to the era and just the overall just really nice strikes that these things had. Of course, with this new Lincoln cent series, there was a little bit of pressure to you know, really showcase what the mint's capabilities were at such an earlier era of 20th century coinage that they ultimately knocked it out of the park. I mean, these things have a look that's going to age, you know, well beyond, you know, when you and I are still around. And, you know, it's just, these coins are going to be kept in collections or portfolios for a long time. I mean, we may never see these coins enter the marketplace ever again, and I think we're okay with that. This is a one-shot type of affair right here. So this is a Mint State 68 red, and it's a Pop 1, none finer. This is it. This is the end of the road here. If you needed one of these at the highest level, you're going to have to seek out a 67, and good luck with that. The Pop numbers in a 67 is quite thin to begin with. This one ended up selling for $120,937.50 with 115 bids. So a lot of activity was wrapped around this particular coin. And yeah, I mean, this is the other coin that you guys knew would pop up sometime on this top 15, and that's indeed the 1909 SVDB. I mean, this is the talk of the town right here. Everybody knows about this. People who don't collect the Lincoln Cent series knows about the SVDB. And this one right here is a Mid-State 67 red, CAC certified. Just a beautiful, beautiful, monstrous coin. I love seeing the VDB initials on the reverse there. That's what we're talking about. You know, that's what makes this coin one of the most highly pursued coins in just about every conceivable condition, and they're not cheap. This one is a Pop 16, 0 finer, so there's quite a few of them at this grade level. However, this one ended up selling for $345,375, and that's with 94 bids, ladies and gentlemen. Again, another very active piece right here on the auction. And we're going to end it off, my goodness, with probably the cleanest, most well-preserved Lincoln cent ever. I mean, look at this thing. There's like no nicks on it whatsoever. And because of that, PCGS awarded a monumental Mint State 69 red for this coin. I mean, you could just pause the video real quick and stare at it, just kind of glance at all of the highly detailed areas of the coin, from Lincoln's beard, his hair, just the overall kind of like wrinkling and creases of his jacket, the matte kind of like grainy surfaces of the fields. This thing has it all, ladies and gentlemen. And not to mention that it is truly a lustrous, beautiful bomb of a coin. And this is the big one out of week 1. This is a Pop 1. I mean, yeah, no big surprise here. 0 finer. There are no 69 pluses or 70s, so you could throw that out the window. But this one ended up at only $421,875. I remember seeing this because Great Collections had put up all these coins a good solid, like, I don't know, it was like either 2 months or 2.5 months ago. I remember talking about these with a counterpart of mine back in early November. I'm like, did you guys see that 1919 on the list from the Red Copper collection? And we were all in agreement. This is probably the singular coin that we had a lot more conversation about because of how well preserved it is. I mean, there's nary a freaking carbon spot on there, and if there is, they're very small and microscopic. But boy, this is a big one, and it usurped a lot of kings in the Lincoln Cent series from the 1909 SVDB. I mean, well, don't get me wrong, $345K is like enough to pay for a house. But yeah, who would have thought that this coin right here would beat it out by $75,000? A Philadelphia 1919, which, by the way, you could go out there today and look for a full red mid-state 64 or 65 for a few $100s and be totally content with it and still have the same level of detail as this one. But yeah, $421,875, 90 bids on this one. And this is a coin that you will never see again on the open market. I might eat my words like 2 years from now, someone really needs the cash and they end up selling it. But the thing you gotta know about the high class numismatic clientele is that they buy these things and you don't see them back out in the marketplace ever. They stay in a collection sometimes 20, 30, 40 years before something happens. They either retire, they give up, like Stuart Blay here was a legacy collector of high-end registry set Lincolns, and he just said, I'm out, you know, and that's it. And eventually, they all go to auction. But this is a fresh sale that's going to end up going in probably a much younger collection, and it's just going to sit there. This is a centerpiece to a lot of Lincoln sets. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for part 2 coming up a week from today, where we're going to see ultimately where the 58 double die obverse FS101 is going to end at. There's a huge record-breaking 1969S in a mid-state 66 double die obverse that is well over 200K right now. It's the highest dollar amount achieved for that vaunted modern variety. We're going to see where that one ends, along with a bunch of others. So a very stacked list this week. We're going to see where the 2 premier pieces, varieties-wise, ends next week. And that's going to be it. That's going to be our one kind of like big hurrah, big send-off for another prominent registry set collection. So congratulations to Mr. Blay on the fantastic listing. You know, it's, again, revel in this. Go back to Great Collections. Check out some of the other coins that sold, because there are a number of coins that sold for well in excess of 10K. A lot of $30,000, $20,000, $10,000 coins that were not discussed. I could have made this a top 30 list for this week, and I just couldn't do it. But that's it. You guys take care. Stay tuned for more, and have a great day.